Hey guys, and welcome back to the Peteytown Piranhas College Football 26 Team Builder Dynasty. In this episode, we're going to be playing some non-conference games with Toledo and Kent State, and in the middle of that, we're going to be playing Georgia State for our first Sun Belt Conference game. Let's get into it. Before our games, a little recruiting update. We got Nate Raymond here in his top 5, and it's a very tightly contested battle. But we did figure out his hard sell, so hopefully that's able to put us over the edge a little bit. One problem we did run into is that we've been giving up a lot of passing yards, so that's affecting the play style grades for this guy, George Emanuel, and this guy, Cameron Schluter. So hopefully we can correct that on the field to help these guys along, but it's going to be very damaging to us in the short term. Then there's Doug Schafering. We were kind of outside his top 5 going into this week, but then we snuck in, so we were able to find a hard sell for him, so hopefully that just gives us even more of a boost. But we're facing some pretty tough schools for him, so it's going to be a uphill battle. And then the hope here with Greg Capps is that we are able to get a boost for him on a visit in a couple of weeks, so we'll see if we can hold on till then. Now it's time to take on the Toledo Rockets on the road. It's our first away game of the season, so looking forward to seeing how the Piranhas handle themselves. Toledo starts with a pass, and Peter Ladigoski instantly makes his presence felt with a sack. Did not take long for our star guy to get in there on their quarterback. Third down and 18 for Toledo. They're going to come out with a pass play. And we get an interception. What a great read by Cameron Fleming. He jumped all over that route, and he's going to set up our offense in excellent field position there. Fantastic play by our strong safety. So we lost some yards on the first 2 downs after that Cameron Fleming interception. So we're on 3rd and goal. Pete Manning manages to fire it out to Isaiah Johnson, but he's just short of the goal line. The Piranhas come out on 4th down in a heavy goal line look. We're going to hand it off to Juju, and he fights his way through some tackles and dives into the end zone for the touchdown. That was kind of a risky call from Petey Previtt and the coaching staff, because sometimes those runs will get blown up, and ours was on the verge of that, but Juju Johnson just managed to fight his way through and get himself into the end zone. Play fake here, they're going to fire it over the middle of the field, and they got a big completion near midfield. That was an absolute strike from Malachi Nelson. Pass rush almost got in. Their guy just managed to make a nice move to get himself to the first down. Oh man, Malachi Nelson finds a guy again wide open behind our zones, and now Toledo's in good position to get some points on the board. They're going to do an RPO pass, and it's an easy touchdown for Toledo, so a few big pass plays and some good running get Toledo inside the end zone, and they're going to tie up the game. 3rd down and 5 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning makes some checks at the line. He's going to drop back, fire it quickly, and it is held on to by Isaiah Johnson for the first down. Hand off to Pete A. Caruso. He makes a nice little juke move to get himself to close to the first down marker. We're going to drop back to pass. Pete Manning fires, and he's got Picky Rahal open in the middle of the field to get it on their side of the 50. Another RPO, and it's a quick pop pass from Pete Manning. He did not hesitate on that one, and thankfully he did not. Just outside their red zone here, the Piranhas are going to drop back to pass. Pete Manning fires, and he's going to hit a guy, and he fumbles through the end zone, but we recover it for the touchdown. Oh my goodness, what a lucky break. Isaiah Johnson with the great awareness on that one. It was a great pass from Pete Manning, floating it accurately to our receiver, but he fumbled just before he got in, and Isaiah Johnson just saved the day for us. That was Sharon White Jr. almost getting into the end zone himself, but oh my goodness, one of those crazy, just lucky plays for us. Play fake for Toledo. Their guy is wide open near the sideline, and he's going to fight for some extra yards to the 41. Piranhas with a chance to get off the field here on 3rd down and 5. They're going to send their guy in motion to the left side of the formation. They're going to drop back to pass and fire it quickly to him, but we managed to corral him. Nice tackle there by Anthony Kaufman. Time winding down in the first quarter. It's a 4th and 1. They are going to get the snap off. They're going to try a run, and he just manages to get it. Well, we had to hit on him in the backfield, but he just pushed his way for a 1st down. Gritty 1st down conversion in the first quarter, and now we're in the second quarter, and they're on a run here, getting it to the 37-yard line. And we are all over him here, just nowhere to go. Jordan Crawford leading the charge. 3rd down and 18. The Piranhas are really bearing down now. They're going to drop back to pass, and there is a flag. Even with this completion, looks like it's going to come back, and it will. It's going to be a penalty on Toledo. They do decline the penalty because it was 4th down, so they're going to come out with the field goal. The kick is up, and it is no good. He missed it wide to the left, and the defense manages to hold. Pete Manning on a quick strike on an RPO play. He's going to get Pete Ackler out there. Pete Manning's going to find Juju Johnson wide open over the middle of the field. He makes a juke move, and he gets it all the way down to their 16-yard line on a very nice pitch and catch. Not much going on the first 2 downs, so 3rd down and 9 from the 15-yard line. Going to do a little motion here. Pete Manning's going to survey, and he just has nowhere to go, and it's a coverage sack for Toledo as they finally get home. Petey Boy puts up the kick, and he puts it through the uprights, and we're going to go up by 10. A nice stop by our defense, and our offense is now facing a 3rd down and 2. We're going to drop back to pass, fire it quickly. Pete Ackler is going to make the catch and get around their defender, and he's going to get it all the way to their 29-yard line. Just very good speed, good placement of the ball from Pete Manning, and we were able to beat that coverage. Pete Ackler sets us up now very well. Pete Manning is going to fire, and Bianca Croning somehow makes that catch with their guy draped all over him. 2nd down and 4 for the Piranhas. He's going to get us on an out route. Picky Rahal is there to make the catch, and he gets himself into the end zone. Very nice job by the Peteytown Piranhas executing a little 2-minute situation. So we're going to go up 3 scores on the Toledo Rockets. Both offenses couldn't sustain drives on their first couple of drives of the second half, so Piranhas are here on their 2nd drive of the half, and we are getting a 1st down completion to Isaiah Johnson. 3rd down and 10 for the Piranhas. We're spreading them out wide here. Pete Manning is tossing it over, and Pete Ackler with another big play for us is going to get it into their territory. Pete Ackler with a big motion here. Pete Manning's going to drop back, fire it over the middle of the field, and that is a strike to Sharon White Jr. Pete Caruso's going to finally get a hole for himself, and he's going to take advantage of it and get it to their 10-yard line. Oh, Pete Manning. He had him in the end zone, but it just bounces off his hands, and Toledo got the interception on it. Picky Rahal, thankfully, there to make the tackle before they can bring it all the way, but that's just a really unfortunate break for our quarterback there. He thought he could fit it into that window, but just bounces right to them, and we're going to turn it over. After the interception, Toledo is here on a 3rd down and 4. They're firing it quickly, and we were all over it, but he manages to break away from our tackle and get it into our territory. Right up the middle for Toledo now. They're juking and getting to the 35-yard line. Toledo really matriculating the ball down the field after that interception. They're here on a 3rd down and 5. They're going to try a deep ball, and they're going to hit their guy. They beat our best cover corner, Dylan Phelps, who doesn't have the best top-end speed, and they're going to take advantage of that fact with a nice touchdown pass. Malachi Nelson just floated it over to Eric Holly III. and they're going to bring it within 10 points. Pete Manning hits Isaiah Johnson with a nice strike on the slant, spreading him out wide here on first down. Pete Manning's handing it off to Pete Caruso, and he finds a lane, and he breaks some tackles and gets it all the way to their 50-yard line. Pete Manning looking for somebody. He's got Pete Ackler, and he turns the corner on a dime, and he has another big passing play. Spreading him out wide with a 5 wide receiver set. Pete Manning's going to drop back. He's going to float it. He's got Picky Rahal, and we do almost the exact same kind of pass play right back to them. Picky Rahal beats their guy, and he just walks into the end zone, beautifully thrown by Pete Manning, and we are going to take back that 3-possession lead with a 31-17 advantage. 31-14, excuse me. After that Picky Rahal score, Toledo is on 3rd down and 4. They have a man in motion. And they're going to look. No pressure from our defense, and they're going to get the completion over the middle to the 46-yard line. On our side of the 50, it's 3rd down and 1 for Malachi Nelson and the Rockets. They're going to go with a double fake handoff. Their guy is wide open, just nobody back there. We went with a big heavy blitz, and they took advantage of it. They got enough time to get it off, and they just beat our corner off the line. Malachi Nelson, and finally our pressure gets home. We brought extra guys, and Dylan Phelps came in from the slot corner position, and he was able to get the sack there. So much needed play right there for our defense, who was reeling. 3rd down and goal for the Piranhas. Malachi Nelson's feeling the pressure, but he manages to get it out, and then he throws a wild pass to Dylan Phelps, who makes the interception. Malachi Nelson just felt the pressure. I had been talking about how we weren't getting much pressure during the day, and those last 2 plays we were able to get it, and that forces a Malachi Nelson terrible throw that Dylan Phelps is there for the interception. So after that Dylan Phelps interception, we were able to tack on a field goal and a Pete Caruso touchdown, and we are going to take the 41-14 win over Toledo. Here's some stats from our win against Toledo. We had 465 yards to their 381. The running games were completely different, with us getting 112 and 2 touchdowns on the ground, while they only managed 17 yards. The passing games for both teams were effective, as we had 353 to their 364. 3rd downs, we were slightly better with 5 of 9, as they were 7 of 14. And then a big story of the game was that we forced 3 turnovers on them, while we only had 1. Pete Manning was solid. He had his 353 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that 1 interception was pretty unfortunate. And then they had only 2 sacks on us, so pretty good job from our quarterback. Pete Caruso started a little slowly, but he really hit his groove as the game went on. He had 16 carries for 115 yards and a touchdown, and then Juju Johnson fought his way in for a touchdown. Receiving-wise, Pete Ackler didn't get into the end zone himself, but he set us up very nicely with some big plays, as he got 8 catches for 117 yards. He was followed by Isaiah Johnson getting 8 catches and 72 yards. And then Picky Rahal was the one finishing drives through the air, as he had 4 catches for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, we were led by Dylan Phelps' 14 tackles, followed by Anthony Kaufman getting 12 and Peter Eris getting 11. We only got to their quarterback twice today, with Peter Latagoski getting a sack and Dylan Phelps and Petruchio DeLucchio each getting half a sack each. And then we got 3 interceptions on defense with Dylan Phelps, and then Anthony Kaufman got 1 in garbage time, and of course Cameron Fleming had that 1 on their first drive that set up our offense. Petey Boy was perfect on the day, 2 for 2 on field goals with a long of 40. After advancing past our bye week, here's where we stand on our recruits. Nate Raymond is still just barely in first place, so this week is a very important week because we got him on a visit, And we also got Doug Schafering on a visit, and they both have hard cells attached, so we really need this boost of a win to really have any chance at these battles with these two. We also have Benjamin Levine visiting this week, so I think a win would make him commit to us. We did miss out on a guard because he locked us out, so we're looking to push hard on Austin Blizzard. And right now we're just trying to sway him into a better hard sell, because what it currently is not the best, so this one's just slightly better, so we're going to try that. And George Emanuel and Cameron Schluter still remain kind of on our deal breaker with that playing style, so just trying to see any adjustments we can make on defense to help our pass defense. Heading into our matchup with Georgia State now to open Sun Belt Conference play. You can see that we're ranked number 22 in the country, so we've managed to push our way back into the top 25, and we're going to do what we can to keep us there. We're going to drop back to pass. We're going to bring in some pressure, and Peter Latagoski gets in there for the 7-yard loss. So nice start to the game by our defense. That Peter Latagoski sack on the first play helps set up a 3rd down and 16. We're closing in again, and it's not going to be a sack, but Peter Latagoski brings him down. Our offense is going to start in really great field position. Pete Manning's going to hand it off to Pete Caruso, who manages to spin away from a tackle for 6 yards. And we're going to hit our tight end, our backup tight end, for a nice gain on the play. 3rd down and 3 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning fires it quickly, and Picky Rahal just gets over the 1st down marker. Inside their red zone here, a motion, and we're going to hit our backup tight end again on that same play that we used earlier in the drive. Inside the 10, Pete Manning's got a lane if he wants to take it, but he's not. He's going to throw it, and it's a diving catch by Juju Johnson in the end zone. So the Piranhas are going to strike first, and Juju Johnson's going to show us his dance moves. A couple of runs get stuffed for Georgia State, so they're on a 3rd down and 10. I'm going to drop back to pass. Nothing doing here. They're going to float it over the middle on a crosser, and he's just short of the 1st down line. And we got the animation they usually have for a blocked kick, but we didn't block it. Instead, we roughed their punter, so their drive is going to continue. They get us on a blitz. They hit a swing pass while we were blitzing, so they had the perfect play call drawn up there. They're going to run to the outside, and they're going to get to the outside. They get a great block on our corner on the outside there, and they're going to get it all the way to our 9-yard line. Dropping back to pass. They float it over the middle of the field, and they have their guy in the back of the end zone, and they're going to tie the game after that foolish penalty we had on the punt. Pete Manning is going to hit Isaiah Johnson, and he's going to go, and he's going to get to the 34-yard line on a big pass play to start our drive. Big pass to Isaiah Johnson sets up our offense nicely. We're here on 2nd down, and Pete Manning's going to drop back. He's going to throw an interception. We had some slants going, and their guy just sat right where our route was going and made the nice play. So Peteytown Piranhas are a bit sluggish now after that opening touchdown. Fortunately, the defense had Pete Manning's back after that interception with a 3-and-out forced on Georgia State. And Pete Manning's going to deliver a strike here to Isaiah Johnson to get it to the 35. 3rd down and inches for the Piranhas from their 25-yard line. And we are going to fire over the middle, but it's dropped by Isaiah Johnson. It's a 42-yard field goal attempt for Petey Boy. He's going to put the kick up, and it's going to sail through the uprights easily, and we're going to go up 10-7 on Georgia State. Running up the middle, and we have no resistance, and they're going to break free from our defense. We're not going to be able to chase him down as he's going to get himself into the end zone for the touchdown. So that is not a good look for our defense there. They had such a strong first quarter, and now Georgia State is really striking there. They just had the blocks line up perfectly, and our defenders had no answer for it. See if our offense can respond. We're going to do a little play action, and then Pete Manning in rhythm's going to hit Pete Ackler. Bianca Croning's going to make the shoestring catch on that one for the first down. Pete Manning drops back and finds Bianca Croning in stride, and we get to the 36-yard line, just outside their red zone on 3rd down and 6 here. Pete Manning's going to drop back, fire it, and they had the right play call drawn up there for Sharon White Jr. as they blitz their way out of that zone. Vicky Rahal comes in motion, and Bianca Croning is going to be isolated on the right side, and he can walk into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Peteytown Piranhas are going to retake the lead. The defense got a quick 3-and-out on Georgia State, and we're here now on their 44-yard line on 3rd down and 4. It's going to be a big pass and a nice possession catch from Bianca Croning, and we're going to get to their 27-yard line. 3rd down and 10 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning's going to drop back. Pressure comes in, and he launches it out, and Pete Ackler's going to make the catch, but they smother him. Petey Boy's going to come out for about a 25-yard field goal here. He's going to put it up, and he puts it through the uprights. Those hash mark field goals are never a gimme, but Petey Boy makes good work of it to put us up 20-14. And Peter Latagoski and friends are going to get in on the sack, and Georgia State is going to be facing a 3rd and long. 3rd down and 12 for Georgia State. We're bringing some pressure. It doesn't get home quite in time, but he has to throw with pressure in his face and knock it away. The offense couldn't do anything to end the first half, but they get the first possession here in the second half. And Pete Manning's going to drop back and fire a strike over there to our receiver, Isaiah Johnson. P.J. Caruso's going to get a little sliver of daylight, and he's going to get a first down out of it. Pete Manning drops back, and he's got Pete Ackler there over the middle of the field, and he gets it to the 37-yard line. We're going to find Bianca Croning on the outside. Some nice blocks will get him a first down. Isaiah Johnson goes in motion, and Bianca Croning is going to take that empty space that he left and get us another first down to get to their 11-yard line. RPO for P.J. Caruso. He makes a nice spin and breaks a tackle, and he's free to get into the end zone for the Peteytown Piranhas. Very nice run by our halfback there, and we're going to go up 2 scores on Georgia State. Trying to make it a 2-touchdown game for the Piranhas. We're going to come out for the 2-point conversion. We're going to hit Pete Ackler in the flat, and he's going to get in there, and we're going to take the 14-point lead on Georgia State. Both offenses get stopped, so Georgia State's back out here on a 2nd down and 10. They're going to try a little RPO screen and juke our cornerback out of his shoes and get it to 3rd and inches. There's a goal line formation for the QB sneak, and he's going to get it. 3rd down and 11 for Georgia State. They really need to get something going to get back into this game. And they're going to go with the screen, and it's a perfect play call as they get it behind our defenders and they get the first down into our territory. Play action pass. They're going to hit it over the middle off of Dylan Phelps' coverage. It's 3rd down and 2 here for Georgia State in our red zone. They're going to go with the run, and it's going to be enough for the first down. 3rd down and 10 for the Panthers. Big play here for both teams. They're going to drop back. We're going to get in the pressure, and to Darius Collins and Jordan Crawford, bring them down for the sack. Big play for the Peteytown Piranhas, and Georgia State has big decisions to make here. They really have to go for it, so let's see what they try to go with. To my surprise, Georgia State is just going to try to put points on the board and go for the field goal. Kick is up, and it is through the upright, so it's 28-17. It's still a 2-possession game, so good job by the defense just to bend but not break on that drive. Georgia State was able to get our offense off the field again, so they're out here trying to make things happen. They're going to start with a dump off to their running back. 3rd down and 3 for the Panthers. Pointing out some checks. He's going to go with the halfback draw, which is a good play in that situation to get the first down.
Well, it's a nice job handing off to him and getting the first down.
Here we come again with the pressure, and it's going to get home as Darius Collins and Peter Latagowski combine in on the sack. A 13-yard loss on that play. Third down and 23. We're coming out here in a little double mug action. We're going to drop out of that blitz, and they're going to try a screen, and we force them out of bounds on that block. Desperation mode now for Georgia State. It's fourth down and 23. They're going to try the long pass, and it's intercepted. Stepped in front there by Peter Ellis, who read the quarterback and where he wanted to go, and he made a fantastic play there. That's a huge play for us and a deflating one for Georgia State. After that interception from Peter Ellis, we're here on third down and 7 from the 29. Pete Manning is going to find Pete Ackler, and he manages to turn the corner and get to their 12-yard line, and now they have to waste some timeouts. Pete Manning is going to find our guy in the flat, just a beautiful RPO out there to Picky Rahal, and Picky is going to do a touchdown dance, and we're going to close this one out against Georgia State. Great job by the defense getting the turnover, and great job by the offense really hammering it home. So the Peteytown Piranhas are going to get the 35-24 win after Georgia State tacked on a late touchdown, and pretty pleased with how the team performed today, and we'll see how that affects our recruiting. So the stats against Georgia State, we had 436 yards to their 304. They had an effective ground game with 124 yards and a touchdown, and we were right behind them with 107 and a touchdown. Where we separated from them was the passing game with 329 yards to their 180, and they were 7 of 16 on third down while we were 4 of 9, and each team had one turnover. Pete Manning was very effective once again with 329 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and he was only sacked once. Pete A. Caruso was solid with 16 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Isaiah Johnson led the way receiving with 7 catches and 97 yards, while Bianca Croning had 8 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown, and Pete Ackler had 9 catches for 72 yards. King Peter and Anthony Kaufman both had 11 tackles to lead us on defense. Peter Latagowski came away with 2 sacks, while Darius Collins had 1.5 sacks. Jordan Crawford and Jake Arkin had half a sack. And then you had that Peter Ellis interception near the end of the game that really helped put it away for us. Once again, Petey Boy had 2 of 2 on his field goals with a long of 42. And we got our first recruits coming in with Will linebacker Benjamin Levine. So that visit helped us get into first place for Nate Raymond, but it is still a very tight battle. So I'm really just hoping it doesn't go to a recruiting battle with Texas, but it does look like it's headed that way. Same thing for Doug Schafering. We got ahead of Alabama, but they're so close at this point that we might just be in a recruiting battle for them, which we would probably lose at that point, but we're still trying and seeing what we can do. The sway on Austin Blizzard failed, so we're just going to be going with his hard sell here, so just hoping for the best. We're going to try the sway on Quincy Jones now, because this hard sell isn't really doing it for me, so we'll see if we can get an upgrade there. And same thing here for Thomas Rico, just trying to do a sway here to avoid that D- grade. Our last game of this episode will be against Kent State at home with their 62 overall. Bringing heavy pressure here, and the pressure is going to get in, and Peter Latagowski is going to bring him down for a 10-yard sack. And that is career sack number 40 for Peter Latagowski, so he's just climbing up the all-time list now. Third down and 11 here for Kent State. We're going to drop back. The pressure gets in again, and Peter Latagowski and Jordan Crawford combine in for the sack. Our defense sets up our offense nicely. We're here on a 2nd down and 7 at midfield. We're going to do a little RPO slant, and we're going to get the first down with Ryan Boyd. Pete Manning drops back. He's got some time, and he's going to hit Bianca Croning on a nice route there from Bianca. He's going to get it all the way down to the 12-yard line. Pete Manning is going to find Bianca Croning on a little corner route, and he sneaks his way into the end zone. And we're going to go up 7-0 early on the Kent State Golden Flashes. Kent State's dropping back to pass, and they're not going to get anywhere as Jordan Crawford comes through with the 3rd sack of the game in the early going. And their offensive line and quarterback are just absolutely reeling right now, trying to figure out this pass rush. Dropping back to pass again, and this time we're going to get the safety to Darius Collins. Breaks his way through, and we're going to add those 2 points to a 9-0 lead. And this pass rush is just coming alive again. P.A. Caruso is going to be corralled, and he's going to fumble, and Kent State is going to pick it up. We're going to see if we can challenge that. Petey Previtt's going to challenge the call on the field. It looks to me like his knee is on the ground. This will be a better angle. Yeah, his knee. I think his knee is on the ground. They got to overturn this. And Petey Previtt was right, and the offense is going to maintain possession. 3rd down and 6 for the Peteytown Piranhas. Pete Manning's going to drop back, throw it quickly, and we're going to have just enough for the 1st down thanks to Picky Rahal. Power here for P.A. Caruso, and he's going to find what he needs for the 1st down. P.A. Caruso up the middle. He gets a nice spin move with that gold spin move, and he's going to fumble again. This time I don't think we're going to be so lucky. And looking at the replay again, I don't know if we're going to be as lucky this time around. Looks like that ball might be coming out after all. Well, I better get my eyes checked because apparently the referees disagreed with me, and we're going to keep the drive moving along. So 2 fumbles, 2 challenges, and the Peteytown Piranhas are still on the field. Pete Manning is running away from the pressure, and he can't get away from it, and he's going to go down for a 10-yard loss. This has been quite the crazy drive with 2 challenges, well, after 2 fumbles and a big sack there. So we're here on 3rd and 18, and it's going to be a dropped pass. You don't see that very often from Pete Ackler. That could have been a 1st down, but just couldn't manage to hang on. Petey Boy is going to put up the field goal attempt, and he's going to split the upright. So after all that craziness, we're going to get 3 points out of it to go up 12-0. Some more pressure here, and Darius Collins gets in again. Oh my goodness. Just Kent State can't do anything right now, and that's going to be Darius Collins' 10th sack of the season. 3rd down and 6 here for Kent State. Pointing out some things. He's going to drop back to pass. This time the pressure doesn't get home, and it's going to result in a dropped pass. They had their guy open, but he just couldn't haul it in, and we were able to hit him to make sure he didn't bring it in. So the offense at the end of the 1st half, they had a quick 3 and out. So Kent State starting the 2nd quarter with the ball, and they're going to get a 1st down on their 1st play. Dropping back now, we're going to get the pressure in again, and it's a fumble, and Peter Ladagoski is going to recover it. Jordan Crawford got in there for the strip sack, and our defense forces a turnover on Kent State, and they just have absolutely no solutions to our pass rush right now. Looks like we went with some kind of big blitz there out of double mug, probably mid-blitz, but just incredible pressure from this team right now. Pete Manning's going to drop back here, and he's got Bianca Croning wide open, and he's going to get into the end zone. We love that drag play here in the red zone, and Bianca Croning loves catching it and making touchdowns out of it. And we're going to go up. I got to see the score again. It's going to be 18-0 with the extra point. See if we go for 1 or 2 here on the decision for Petey Previtt. And he is going to go for just 1 point here, so it'll be 19-0 for the Peteytown Piranhas. Little jet touch pass for Kent State. They're going to get around it, and they get a nice gain out of that for a 1st down. 3rd down and 9 for Kent State from the 30-yard line. They're dropping back, and guess who? Peter Latagowski's in there for yet another sack. I just can't say enough about this pass rush today. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it's going well, but then you get games where they're just getting sacks in bunches, and this is the bunches game today. Already 3 sacks in the first half for Peter Latagowski. Pete Caruso is going to get through and use his gold spin move to get us to the 41-yard line. Pete Manning's going to drop back, fire, and he's got, almost a touchdown, but just a beautiful pass to Ryan Boyd to get us to the 1-yard line. If he stays on his feet, he's got a touchdown, but I kind of understand where he's coming from, thinking the safety might be there, so just made sure he got the catch. 2nd down and goal for the Piranhas, and it's going to be an easy walk-in touchdown for Juju Johnson. And we are just pouring it on here against Kent State today. Kent State's going to drop back, and we're going to get the pressure in again. Jordan Crawford into Darius Collins. That's Jordan Crawford's 3rd sack of the game, and just the floodgates have really opened now. 3rd down and 14 for Kent State. They're just going to hand off and let their quarterback just get off the field healthy, and we're going to bring him down. Pete Caruso is going to get a little lane for a 1st down. Dropping back in the face of pressure, he fits it in there to Isaiah Johnson. Manning drops back in the face of pressure, and he's going to find Isaiah Johnson again. Plenty of time to do something with this drive. We're going to send Juju in motion. Pete Manning is this time he's going to face the pressure, so get a little taste of our own medicine there on the pass rush from Kent State. Pete Manning drops back and finds Isaiah Johnson on a nice little corner route. 3rd down and 8 for the Peteytown Piranhas just outside their red zone. Juju's going in motion. Pete is going to face some pressure again, and this time their sacks are getting in. We still are outnumbering them with 8 sacks in the first half, which is incredible, but that's their 3rd sack of the game, so a little breakdown of the offensive line on the last couple of plays. So that brings Petey Boy out here for about a 46-yard field goal. Kick is up, and it is through the upright, so get something out of that drive after driving down nicely. 3rd down and 6 for the Peteytown Piranhas from the 35-yard line. Pete Manning is going to fire out there, and he's at the 1st down marker. Nice play by Pete Ackler. And flag immediately, as it's probably going to be offsides, but Juju Johnson's breaking the tackle and getting the 1st down. 3rd down and 13 is facing the Piranhas here as Pete Manning drops back, and on a curl route, Isaiah Johnson's going to catch it and break a tackle and get it to the 25-yard line for a 1st down. Empty formation for the Piranhas. Pete Manning's dropping back. He's going to get Bianca Croning on a little in route, and he's going to do the rest to get it to the 11-yard line. Pete Manning's looking, and the pressure comes in again. The Kent State Golden Flashes are kind of overloading our offensive line right now, and they can't seem to figure it out. So that sack forces it, and that sack is making it a 3rd and 16. Pete Manning is going to float it, see what we can get, and it's going to be a jumping grab for Pete Ackler. He just boxed out their defensive back there and makes the leaping catch, and that is just so good from our guy Pete Ackler there. And we're going to go up big time on Kent State now. It's going to be 36-0. So the Peteytown Piranhas put the finishing touches on an absolute blowout in a 53-3 win. The defense was just absolutely incredible in this one with double-digit sacks, and the offense just took advantage of all those opportunities they gave them, and just a really all-around effort from the boys today. So here's the proof of the incredible effort by our defense today. Our offense had 432 yards, while the defense held them to 88 total yards. And you're not reading that incorrectly. We held them to negative 18 yards rushing, which is just insane. You have to include the sacks into that, but still, just seeing that is insane. And then we had 172 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. And then they can only muster 106 passing yards, while we had 260. They were 2 for 11 on third down, while we were 4 of 9. We kept a clean sheet for turnovers, and we forced 1 turnover. Pete Manning did his thing today with 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. The only kind of negative on offense was giving up the 4 sacks to Pete Manning, and then 1 more to Philip Rush, so we had 5 sacks given up on the day. Pete A. Caruso had 18 carries for 123 yards and a touchdown off screen. And then with the backups, Peteytown Grant had 9 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown. And Juju Johnson was 5 for 11 with 1 touchdown. Our leader with receiving was Bianca Croning with 6 catches, 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Isaiah Johnson complimented him with 4 catches, 66 yards. And then you go down here to Pete Ackler, and he had 3 for 29 and a touchdown. Peter Latagowski led the way with 6 tackles and 6 tackles for a loss. Gotta love our defense getting 12 sacks in this game. Peter Latagowski led the way with 3.5. Jordan Crawford had 3 sacks and a strip sack that Peter Latagowski recovered for our turnover in the game. Then Tadarius Collins had 2.5. Kevon King had 1 sack, as well as Charles Hardy, and then Dylan Phelps and King Peter each had half a sack. This time, Petey Boy went 3 for 3 on field goals with a long of 48. Unfortunate news in recruiting as Nate Raymond got overtaken by Texas, so looks like that's not going to go well after we got the boost from our visit last week. And the battle for Doug Schafering doesn't look like it's going to go our way either, so I think at this point it's unfortunate, but we're going to have to take ourselves out of this battle because there's no way we're winning a recruiting battle over Alabama, especially with their Tier 5 pipeline and all the extra things they can put in. And neither Sway worked on Quincy Jones or Thomas Rico, so we're just going to have to go back to the old-fashioned way with their hard sells. That'll do it for this episode. In our next episode, we're going to be going full Sunbelt Conference play, so I hope to see you guys there. I'll see you guys in the next video.